Hi everybody, this is Andrew Anderson and I'm bringing you this video for the Commons box, which you can find on puremtgo.com. And I'm bringing you gameplay video for Pauper Familiar Flicker, which is the combo deck that we've been talking about. So let's go ahead and get started. This is game 1. Unfortunately I'm unable to access game 2, but I easily 2-0'd this match. So let's go ahead and start. So let's see what our opening hands are. So we've got Island, Snap, Familiar, pretty decent hand. I would like to see a black source though, and soon, because Nightscape Familiar is what really makes it take off. So we'll just see how we play off. A Nettle Sentinel, which is a little worrying, means we're going to be on a fairly heavy clock. So I just lead off with an Island and pass turn. And our opponent attacks with Nettle and plays Quirion Ranger. So we're going to go ahead and use Snap while he's tapped out to take the Nettle Sentinel back to his hand and pass back. Now there's a couple options here. We can actually Snap again or cycle Cloud of Fairies, but I decided to take the option to Snap on his turn. So we're taking one, but one is not an issue. He's going to go ahead and use Quirion Ranger to play a 2-drop, which is Grook's Companion. I'm not terribly worried about that. He's tapped out, so I'm going to go ahead and use an end-step Snap to just bounce it back to his hand. I'd rather just take one. And then we cycle Cloud of Fairies, which normally I wouldn't do, but I'm looking for a black source here. So we drew a Ghostly Flicker into a Cloud of Fairies, which is actually not bad. But this turn what we're going to do is we're going to evoke a Mole Drifter, because we want to draw cards before we use Compulsive Research so that we have a land in hand to pitch. So let's see. Now we have a fairly decent hand, but we are missing our other colored mana, which is a bit of an issue. So we're going to go ahead and pass turn back, take another one, and see what he does. Here's a Skargan Pitskulk, which is a bit worrying because it's a 2-2 and it's not easily blocked, followed up with a Nettle Sentinel, which is not the best thing for us. However, here we're actually going to be able to do a few things. So we're going to Compulsive Research after playing a Dimir Aqueduct to make sure we have a land to pitch. So we return the island, Compulsive, and we pitch the island, because the Evolving Wilds there allows us access to white mana, which we will get to in a minute. And we're going to go ahead and pass turn, which unfortunately, because of the way I played this, I played the Cloud of Fairies a bit too late. I didn't play the Cloud of Fairies here, and I actually probably should have, but I'm ending up discarding a Sunscape Familiar, which isn't the best feeling in the world, but we should be fine. This turn, basically, we're just sitting here and hoping, he doesn't have pump spells. And he hits us for 5 and plays Grook's Companion again. Which I'm not terribly worried about, but he does have a significant clock on us right now. So within the next couple turns, we could be dead. I don't understand why he used the Quirion Ranger there, because he'd already played a land that turn, so he couldn't get extra mana out of it. But this turn we drew a Cloud of Fairies, which is actually a very good draw. So we're going to lead off with our Evolving Wilds, crack it to fetch a Plains. And we're going to tap Dimir Aqueduct to play Nightscape Familiar. From there we're going to play a Cloud of Fairies and untap our Plains and our Dimir Aqueduct, thus allowing us to play a Sunscape Familiar, and then play Cloud of Fairies, untapping our blue sources. From there we're going to evoke Mole Drifter, and then once we draw our cards we're going to Ghostly Flicker, Mole Drifter, and Cloud of Fairies to untap lands and draw another 2 cards. So let's see what we draw. Okay, a couple lands. Not really an issue, so we're going to cast Compulsive Research before we do anything else, since we can pitch a land. Now here's where I make a mistake. I was supposed to click OK, but I accidentally clicked on Mnemonic Wall because I got too excited. And so I discarded my Mnemonic Wall, and I was really unhappy with that. So we're going to evoke another Mole Drifter. Then we're going to, let's see, snap the Mole Drifter back, untap our lands, and then we're going to evoke him again. Though we really should have just played him. But at this point it really doesn't make a huge difference. We're going to go ahead and play another Nightscape Familiar, and then a Parasitic Strix to just gain a little bit of life, and we'll pass turn back. And hopefully we should be able to draw within the next couple turns another Mnemonic Wall. Now we do have a Cavern Harpy here, which is interesting because it can bounce our Mole Drifter and we can play it again. And we can keep bouncing Mole Drifter to draw more cards, but we don't actually need it. He's only attacking with 2 power because he's kind of afraid, and you know, he can't really get through with a whole lot. That was a very good turn for us. So we're going to go ahead and let him play another Nettle Sentinel and pass back. This Giga Drowse here is more for post decks and other decks that we have trouble dealing with them having land untapped. However, here we're not too worried. So he plays a Basking Root Walla, which I'm assuming he's playing as anti-discard, which is actually pretty smart. I like it. So we untap and there's a 4C. Now we have 3 familiars out, so we're just going to 4C for 1 mana. And here we're going to bottom everything except for Compulsive and take the Compulsive. We draw an Evolving Wilds. We go ahead and cast Compulsive. There's a Mnemonic Wall, so we're going to pitch an Evolving Wilds, and this time we hit OK. And from here we cast the Mnemonic Wall. We return whatever it was to our hand, Ghostly Flicker. We play our land for the turn, which allows us to start flickering. And at this point we really are just flickering Cloud of Fairies and Mnemonic Wall to make mana, after which, once we have enough blue mana, we're just going to flicker Mnemonic Wall and Parasitic Strix until he's dead. And it's a fairly quick kill at this point. It is a bit annoying to have to click through and do all the triggers manually. It's a lot easier to do this in paper, but our opponent eventually concedes because he realizes he cannot win at this point. We have the combo. Now, before we finish off, I'll give you a quick summary of Game 2. Game 2, we let off with a turn 2 Standard Bearer, which pretty much hoses his entire deck, because he's playing lots of pump spells, Rancors. With Standard Bearer, every single one of those becomes useless to him. We have Snuff out in our sideboard as well, and so by bringing in those 8, we actually have a very good chance. And so with that turn 2 Standard Bearer, it was able to buy me so much time that I was able to find every single combo piece and then just go off. The deck is very resilient, and I've been enjoying playing it. You just have to get used to it. It is a difficult deck to play. The shell is similar to Familiar Storm, but I figure it's a lot more fun because it's a quicker kill because of Parasitic Strix. Familiar Storm still has to attack to win. We don't. We will essentially Tendrils the opponent. Now, it's not quite as fast as Tendrils, but it works in much the same way. It is lose 2 life, you gain 2 life, and you just keep doing that until your opponent's dead. So, with all that, we'll just go ahead and finish the game, and we've won. So let's go ahead and see what... Okay, apparently it won't let us see what the next couple draws are. So I hope you enjoy that, and next week I will be bringing you more video content, and hopefully we'll have another deck ready. I'm working on one right now, but I'm still trying to iron out the bugs. But if it works out, it's also another combo deck that has infinite mana, but I won't give you a hint yet as to what it is. But if you want to guess, go ahead. So thank you guys for watching, and I will be back with you next week.